Welcome in to Holy Harlot. This is the sanctuary for the untamed and the sacred. I'm Mary Lisa, your guide into the realms of embodied pleasure, divine feminine power, and the neuroscience of nervous system liberation. Here we're going to merge mysticism and science because reclaiming your desire isn't just spiritual poetry, it's neurobiology. This is where we dismantle shame, rewire the stress conditioning in your brain and body, and awaken the ancient codes of pleasure that have always been yours. If you're ready to turn your body into a living portal, regulate your nervous system as an act of devotion, and step fully into your magnetic power, welcome in. Don't forget that these videos are ad-free. You can support the channel by becoming a member and know that I deeply appreciate it. All right, well, today we're welcoming in a co-host with me, and I met Michelle probably a few weeks ago when we connected via Instagram and we talked over the phone. I immediately knew I had to get her on the podcast because she was saying such interesting things, and I'll let her get into that. But I am joined by Michelle Bexelius. I hope that I'm saying that right. Yeah, founder of Design Well Studios, a wellness design strategist and building biologist who helps people create homes that restore their health instead of depleting it. Michelle bridges design, building science, and integrative wellness. She's inspected hundreds of homes, trained in environmental testing and building biology, and is the creator of Design Well Colors, a collaboration with AFM Safecoat, which has 16 nature-inspired, non-toxic paints. Through her consulting, education, and design work, she helps people detoxify and rebuild spaces with beauty and biology in balance. Her work is guided by a simple belief: our homes should heal us. Welcome in. Oh, so glad to have you here.
Much. It has been such a pleasure to meet with you, and I just felt serendipitous to connect with you on Instagram and just loved your presence, loved your energy, love everything that you represent. And, we've worked together as well since we met, and just I treasure our session together. And then when you talked to me about being on your podcast, I thought that that would be fantastic because I've really rebranded and gotten true to what I love to do in my own space.
Mhm.
Now I'm offering that to my clients, and there'll be a link to it at the end of this that you mentioned on YouTube, so your clients can enjoy that as well. But they're getting more sacred and energetic and really aligning the nervous system in your own space. There's a lot of things in our homes. We spend a lot of time in our homes, and there's a lot of things in our homes that can disrupt our nervous system and our peace and our energy. And over the years, I've really noticed how buildings can either thrive or fail. And I'm pretty
Mhm.
intuitive myself, not
Yeah.
like but definitely have some intuitiveness, especially more over the years where I go into spaces and I'm like, something's off. And sometimes it'll be an EMF, like electromagnetic frequency, too much buzz, not harmonizing, or lighting can be off, several different things, but or the flow of how things flow in an environment or home. So yeah.
Yeah, and it really sparked my interest because I really feel like this is something that I don't know anything about, but you're speaking my language, right? You walk into a place, you're like, the vibes are off, I can feel it, right? So you're clairsentient, you can sense the energies inside your body. And you've created an entirely successful business on helping people create that safe place for themselves.
Right. I mean, that's oftentimes I have so many clients that have had experienced trauma or exposures from mold or chemicals or what, and they just need a place to feel safe. And so they get on Google and they read things and they get on social media, and then that just heightens their awareness even more and gets them more spun. And so they start thinking that their home isn't safe. Well, when they work with me, I dispel all of their anxieties, not all of them, but I do my best to give them awareness. and give them the tools to be able to really get to know their home and environment. And then, we have test kits that we can test to know for sure the science doesn't lie. I help them improve their air quality. I give them the tools so they can have peace of mind knowing it. You can make it safer, you can harmonize it, you can just have an awareness about it. So it doesn't have to jolt you every time you go into your home.
Absolutely. And I think what I really loved about our shared discussion before this was that your background is very educated, right? You started off in design and architecture and all that stuff, and then you were like, wait a minute, there's a gap here that I would love to fill, which is like bringing that spirituality, also that like feminine awareness of like how to make spaces more harmonious, because you're right, it is sacred. We spend a lot of time here and it can really dysregulate people.
Really built for to be in environments that are warm and they're inviting, they're cozy, and they have those natural colors, those tones, and the lighting to be able to support us, and
Yeah.
texture. Yeah.
Okay, so textures, lighting, warmth, color schemes, these are all kind of building into this, like how to make us feel much better in our space.
Yeah, I mean, think about when you're on a hike in the gorge, and it's that the sun is coming through. It's called kohlrabi. The sun is coming through the trees. That beautiful light is coming through.
Yeah.
Or you hear the stream. I have a little water fountain here. It's
Mhm.
in your southeast corner. I feel like I'm sitting by a creek,
Mhm.
and I'm looking out. Views are really important too. Where are you spending time when you wake up? What do you look at?
I know a lot of the people who, I have worked with are very sensitive, like you mentioned, but they're not exactly sure what they're sensing or the fact that, such elements can negatively impact them in the
Right.
house.
Yeah, I mean, when I first moved into this place, just sold my house, and then I'm in a rental, just
Mhm.
temporarily, but it's fine for now. But I could not, I don't know if I told you this, but I could not be in the back bedroom. For some
Mm.
reason. There was a smell, and the energy was so heavy. And I repainted. I'm like, okay, well, somebody maybe smoked here, or there was an animal here. When I can't figure things out, I call my person who is a paranormal expert.
Yeah. Mhm.
And she told me that there was somebody here that had moved on.
Mhm.
She did her work by cleansing and clearing out the space and inviting her to move on. And guess what? After all the Palo Santo had cleared and opened up the windows, I was able to sleep in there. And I have been ever since.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I've done that before in the past where I do electromagnetic field testing where I'd be walking around looking for the element,
Mm.
the uh, the frequencies, or it's electric, magnetic, or radio frequency, or dirty electricity. And oftentimes I'll be walking around testing electric or magnetic fields, and my meter will just go off. I had this happen to a dear friend and client of mine, not to spook anybody out, but her husband had passed away like a couple years prior to me being there doing the testing. And I walked in the middle of her son's room, and it just went crazy.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I knew because she was a close friend of mine, and I knew that his presence was there. And I told her, and she just sobbed. I got the chills now. And but it was a peaceful situation.
Yeah, and I mean, it all relates to what people are noticing but don't exactly know how to put a finger on. So, I kind of would like to backtrack and invite you to tell us about, how you got to this point. Like, what inspired you to be where you're at right now?
Yeah, so I grew up in a household where my mom was a landscape architect, my dad was a builder,
Mhm.
and my real father, whom I met later, was a sculptor. And so art was really a big deal. Literature, landscape design, construction, there was always that going on. I would oftentimes go on my mom's job sites, my dad's job sites, and like see an action and things like that. So that was in my blood. I didn't want to do it though. She encouraged me to do it. She's like, you would be so great at this. And we would work together. And I'm like, no, of course, rebelling at the teenage age. And then when I went to school, I wanted to study medicine. So I wanted to become a doctor. And I went into cadaver labs, and the specimen was so pickled with formaldehyde. It was so strong. There was no ventilation, fluorescent lights. It was just this most unappealing, it's supposed to be appealing, but the most unappealing environment. And it really took me back. Like it just was this big no. So I talked to my professor and I'm like, I got to take a different direction. And
Yeah.
I went to Europe and studied art and photography.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Well, you listen to your body in that moment, which is hard because there's a lot of expectations around what's the logic behind your no. And you were like, it's just a full body no.
it was such a full body no. And I mean, at the time I realized that I maybe had some mold exposure growing up and had some more sensitivities, but I just wanted to not do that. So then I studied art, like I said, in Europe. And then I went and after I graduated, I studied experience design in San Francisco and design interfaces and experiences online. And then when I was pregnant with my first son, I was creating his nursery. And so I was just online trying to, source things. And when you become a mom, you just want the best for your kid. You like want the best. And I'm like, I just don't, it just feels. And I was into solid wood furniture and air quality. And it was very, I was aware of it, but I took a deep dive when it was starting to design for him. And then I started a company called Green This Life with an naturopathic doctor friend of mine, where we would do house calls and we would take a look at their environments and see how we can improve them. And then I also studied building biology and really
Wow.
got into building science and air quality, EMFs, and building materials and everything and anything it has to do with buildings and building science. So got really nerdy with that.
Mhm.
And then my company's been the same, but it's kind of evolved over the years. It's had different names. I've had different partners. But now I help clients diagnose, detox, and design.
Mm.
Gotten my integrative health practitioner's certifications and also interior design. So yeah.
Okay. You talked about like solid wood furniture and air quality and lighting and stuff like that. How much toxicity goes into the average building?
I mean, you'd be surprised. I mean, there's either the new building or the older building. So older buildings are more like dust, lead paint, poor,
Mhm.
I would not say poor ventilation, but like space planning, not always the best. With new buildings, it's more like all the new building materials. Flooring is the worst. Never ever, if you go up, I shouldn't say never ever, but there's things you can do always. But it's very difficult to remediate the vinyl plank flooring. Uh,
Vinyl.
Vinyl plank flooring, yeah. So it looks like wood, but it's actually plastic.
Mhm.
It's called polyvinyl chloride, PVC. And I don't know if you remember a few years ago, there was a big toxic spill in Ohio.
Okay.
Like wildlife, birds, people were getting sick and dying. And that what was on that train that derailed was polyvinyl chloride, the exact material that goes into making the vinyl plank flooring.
Which people walk on barefoot, I'm sure.
Babies crawl on and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of inspections over the years where that part of my work that I do is I would go into people's homes and I would bring all my meters and my test kits. We test the air, we test the water, we test EMFs, we test for mold. And I can remember there was a very, very intense case where there was that type of flooring, but then they put the adhesive, which had formaldehyde in it. And so the baby got chronic asthma. And then the builder took, my client took the builder to court. And I was a witness in there, and my client won.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, fuck yeah, good job.
It was
Also, that's scary.
the builder tried to um, remediate it on his own by hiring his person. Well, they put it in backwards and then they added an ozone machine, which when you have ozone, if you have toxic chemicals floating around the air and then you put ozone, what ozone does, it grabs a hold of the molecules and it makes it bigger. And sometimes they make different chemicals, new ones. And if you don't wipe them out and clean them, they just hang out. The ozone, people are like, I just want to ozone my place, it'll all be fine. I'm not a proponent of ozone.
Wow. Okay, so
That's a lot.
I, yeah. Well, it's what I feel is I used to have such a terrible eating disorder. And what led me to treatment is I wouldn't eat anything that came out of plastic because I started convincing myself that, like, anything that touched plastic, like, I didn't want in my body, and it became a disorder. Like, I used it as permission for disorder. So, what do you do with a client who's in that mindset of, like, everything's toxic to me? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, so I do, it's called a wellness property assessment. And we do an assessment of their entire space.
And you do it for people all over the place, not just local.
It's all, I do it anywhere and everywhere. I do it all over the world. And we take a look at their space inside and out, do an assessment, and then I give them a what I call a priority list of like most important priority. Like you can't fix everything. Like
Mhm.
every house has something, but what I help my clients is the biggest things like air quality, and then you know the bigger things like where you sleep, your bed, and yeah, food storage is one thing too. It's just you got to take it step by step.
Yeah.
So I give people a strategic plan,
Hmm.
have that plan, do the top items first, and then they have that plan to be able to go towards and check off when they have it.
Yeah. So
I
it's
have
like action oriented.
there's organizations that I was with that I learned a lot from, but they are very fear based. And so I decided to separate myself. So, one thing, because I don't believe in that, one thing that I do is I tell people that I don't come from a place of fear. Like, I'm very empathetic. I'm sensitive because I'm the same way. I can go there, I can go there energetically, and I'm an empath. And oftentimes, like people's body burdens are their buckets are so full,
Hmm.
so they're just tipping all the time. And so there are people like, oh, they're sensitive, they're freaking out, they're crazy. Well, people don't know what they've been through. They
Yeah.
could have grief, they could have loss, they could have trauma, they could have past generational stuff that I'm sure that we talk about all the time. So one person is going to react differently than the other person.
Can you tell me a little bit about mold exposure? Because we've briefly touched on it a few times, and I feel like this is something, A, that you come across a lot in clients, B, that you've experienced yourself, and like how would this impact someone? How would someone know?
So mold is kind of silent if you can't see it. Mycotoxins come from mold. Uh,
Okay.
Mycotoxins are the very, very finite, almost DNA of mold. And, you know, if you have symptoms like brain fog, if you have allergies that won't quit, um, if you're just not getting better,
Mm.
if you're having trouble focusing, there's a ton of other symptoms. Gut issues are big time, skin issues, sleep issues. So it's really important to take note. So mold is, even though you can't see it, if you have too high of humidity and it's you see condensation on your windows in the wintertime, um, if it smells a little off, sometimes people don't smell it.
Yeah.
It's just the symptoms. If you have that, if you're coughing, if you've got um, you know, respiratory stuff going on, it doesn't hurt to test.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I have an affiliation with a company that sends out test kits. I'm happy to share that with your people too. These kits are the same professional grade that I use that are, professional. So
Yeah.
they're just user friendly.
I know I'm gonna want one because I'm thinking about my little
I can see
back.
wheels turning.
Yeah, my little back closet here. I'm like, oh, I have to keep, silica in that closet to kind of absorb.
Yeah, you look like you have an older home, and like,
Like 1910.
oh wow, it's older than mine. Mine's 1927. So yeah, there's things you can do. I'm kind of known for people in like Virginia or call me up. They're like, this smells weird. What?
Yeah,
So I send them some test kits and I consult with them and we figure it out.
that's amazing.
Now this has been done. How do you maintain it?
Right.
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 So that's important. It's not just one and done. Just like oftentimes, I'm working with a developer now, and I'm putting together, I'm the wellness design strategist on his projects. And we're creating, I don't know, there's 13 different units. By the time people get the keys and they buy the house and they enter the door, they're going to get a maintenance manual, a home manual,
Mm.
welcome home. Like this is your home. Like when you get a car, here's a manual. When we move into a place, if we're renting or buying, nobody gets that.
Mm.
You're just guessing. Like I don't know where the shut off valve is for the water or the gas, or
Right.
I don't know what filter is to change or anything like that. So I help people get to know their homes, and I do create custom maintenance manuals for them too.
See, that's what's kind of so incredible is, I moved into the Pacific Northwest 5 years ago, and these houses are old where we're at. And I started noticing my dog in the wintertime after, the playing the heater, he was getting really itchy. And I just thought, I'm like, it's the heater, something about the heater. And I had no idea that you're supposed to change the filter. I didn't even know there was a filter. And we looked at it and it was disgusting.
Yeah, I know when we first moved into this place, I first visited it, it smelled terrible. And I'm
Mm.
like, oh, and I knew how to fix it and figure it out. But when we went downstairs where the crawl space is, where the furnace is, the filter was this thick with gunk. The people had lived there for almost 3 years, had never changed it. Guess why? Because it was underneath the house in the crawl space. They didn't want to go there. The property manager probably never told them about that.
It's so interesting. I'm just getting this like such strong kind of correlation, which you already know. It's just coming in so strong that like you said, we don't get manuals on our houses, and like our houses are our place of nurturing, and there's a lot of energetic imbalance. Like, are we caring for it as much as we care for our own health? Because
When I first started, we did a full audit of your personal care products, your cleaning products, your cookware, your food storage, like the whole thing.
Mhm.
Now I just educate people about that, and there's a lot more. There's a lot more out there to offer too.
I also love that though, that like you self-edited this like whole grand scheme where you're like, I'll give you the basics, you got to go you know, do your own work as well. And like that to me says good energetic boundaries for you too.
I want you to know like
Yeah.
what to do in case XYZ. I'm going to be creating a tenant guide as well. So for people who rent,
Hmm.
we don't have a lot of say a lot of times.
Yeah.
There's a lot of competition and not a lot of spaces available. So when you get it, I help people like navigate that process. So either to buy or to rent, you do a scan. It's called a property scan. We look for things that you can't change. We look for things like radio towers, cell towers, industry that's off gassing chemicals, freeway from pollutants or heavy busy streets. You can't really do much about that.
Hmm.
That's what we want to mitigate. So, and then they find the place that meets those standards, but doesn't have those things, and then you go deeper and go, okay, I can deal with this. This is fixable, and this is ideal, and this is a no go. So there's things, and then this is also how to talk to your property manager
Yeah.
about this because you have rights, tenant rights,
Hmm.
renting. If you do find mold, like if you do a test and there is mold, and there is visible mold, or the test comes through. Oftentimes, for litigation purposes, you need to have a professional come in and test. But if you just want to know, and oftentimes, like I did this with my property manager, we just tested, and they're like, okay, cool, let's just remediate it. You have rights. You do not have to pay rent. You have to do a whole thing to do
Mm-hmm.
it, but you have rights. They have to fix it.
I love that you're sharing this because I know probably a lot of people may be hearing like all of these tools and like maybe there's a lot of renters out there that are like, what am I supposed to do? And like you care. You care. You're like here to like empower people and like get them to feel good in their space because it matters for their emotional, spiritual, mental health.
That's exactly right. I mean, there's a lot of mental health issues when it comes to spaces. Like here in the Pacific Northwest, it gets dark earlier, it gets cloudy, the sun goes away for several months. People have the SAD, the seasonal
Yeah.
affective disorder, and it's a thing. It is a thing, but like even this house here, this for some reason this room, well, I know why, because it's got a lot of bamboo and a big huge cedar tree here. So this corner of the house is dark, but you can create artificial light by making it lighter and brighter. I've got a light meter that during the day you have to have full spectrum. There's a light bulb that is three-way, so it's morning, dinner time, and evening time. So it's awesome. It's like daytime. I think it's daytime, sunset, and then campfire.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was one of my other questions that I wrote down because I'm really sensitive to lighting and to like airflow, but mostly I get kind of spazzed out under fluorescent lighting. So can you kind of walk me through like what the difference is and like what I can be looking for? Is there a certain type?
I think that oftentimes people that what you're saying is um, sensitive to is the flickering. So it's flickering constantly. The fluorescent lights are constantly flickering. So what you need is a flicker free, and also the LEDs. LEDs, if they flicker more, they like bounce. Like if you look at your computer, you take a picture of your computer.
Oh yeah, it'll spaz.
So same thing with the lights.
Oh.
Lights are constantly moving, and it acts on your nervous system. So it's
Huh.
really important to get flicker free light bulbs and then full spectrum. And I've got a link. I'll link to that too to my
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Flicker free. I'm taking notes here.
so their circadian rhythm support. And
Okay.
so our bodies, first thing you want to do in the morning is go out and get some sunlight,
Mm.
morning light. If it's cloudy, just stay out a little bit longer. If it's sunny, shorter. But get your eyeballs before 10 a.m., preferably around 7. Get them some sunshine.
Right.
And then yeah, it's just really important. And then it helps with melatonin. So
Right.
when you're mimicking nature between the sun rising up, midday, sunset, and then sunset, and then post, it's really, really important that our bodies are mimicking that because we can sleep better. It really helps a lot. When I got these light bulbs, I could work longer.
Ooh.
I didn't get distracted. I didn't get tired. I don't get tired. I don't know if you remember, were you here 2020?
20, yeah, we had everyone was wearing masks and the inside of our houses were full of ash.
Oh, what? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, our air was the worst air in the world, 2020.
Hmm.
And I remember the sky. I'm writing a book, and I'm looking for pictures, and I found a picture of that year with the sunflower I had, and the orange sky just orange.
Wow, yeah.
But so, anyways, so air quality, it's really important to shore that up. Monitoring your air. You got to see what you're breathing. Oftentimes, people will insulate their entire houses to get cozy and warm, but they won't ventilate them. So it's super important, especially older houses. Well, newer houses, it's law. They have to in Oregon last couple of years. But older houses, if they retrofit and put insulation in, they have to put heat recovery ventilators or energy recovery ventilator systems in to bring in fresh air, filter it, and then exhaust the stale air. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
taking a breath, like our houses are taking a deep breath and then they're exhaling.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a bunch of people over and you're in the wintertime and all your windows and doors are closed, people are going to get sleepy because of carbon dioxide levels, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Especially in schools. So it's really good to have a monitor, see what's going on. If the carbon dioxides go up, if you don't have a heat recovery ventilation fan, just open up a window, stick a little fan in, and get some breeze in and out.
Oh my gosh. I sometimes go over to people's houses and I'll feel like such a jerk, but I won't want to walk in because it's like walking into dead air.
Yeah.
Like
And
that's the sensation.
so when you have good circulation, when you have good ventilation, that's really good for the home too.
Hmm.
Um, Having a good quality air purifier is really important. I'm a proponent for Austin Air. I've been working with them for almost 20 years.
Okay.
And I've had mine since I was in college, and I have college age kids. I mean, they are powder coated steel. There's no plastic, no Wi Fi, no Bluetooth, anything. It's just a solid, amazing machine. And it really helps circulate the air, especially like if you've got a gas stove. That's another air quality thing, too. Yeah, you should feel really good. Like when you take a breath, it should be clean, fresh air. Yeah.
Yeah, I leave two opposing windows open 24/7 pretty much until it drops below 30, which isn't very often for us, but yeah, because I also have like this stim where I can't have like air blowing on me, like either AC or heater. So I kind of just bundle up in the winter and like get really skivvy in the summer because I have such a sensitivity to like air that's been, this is going to make me sound so weird, air that's been like kind of ventilated through something else
It's an
blowing
energy
on.
issue, I think, right?
I think it is, but it's hard to explain that to people when they've got like full blast AC in the car. And I'm like, the energy's off. No, I'm like, can we
Well,
not?
like I'm sure flying is tough for you too, having the air blow on you there.
Yes, and I totally avoid hotels because they a lot of them won't allow you to open windows.
I remember we stayed at this really great hotel in across from Hood River. It was an old schoolhouse that they created.
Mm,
It's called Society Hotel, and
pretty.
it's awesome. It's great, but the room that we were in, they didn't let you open the windows. They had them both shut.
Oh my God.
We just had this air circulating, and it was a beautiful fall day. I don't know, that was poor design. Anyways, I have to have fresh air. It's really
Yeah.
important. And people, regardless if they feel it or not, they
Mhm.
need it too. Especially elderly people. I've done a lot of not a lot, but several senior assisted living places. And for cognitive abilities, they are stifled. They trip and fall, they get sleepy. When you look at the carbon dioxide levels, they're like 1100 when they should be 500.
Oh,
So
oh, wow.
there's the ventilation, but it's just an afterthought. People don't think about it.
But I assume that you see it like what I sense is that the lack of airflow and cleanliness, right, is really a stagnation of energies, of emotions, of like wanting to like claustrophobe. But it comes across in like flu season, cold season. Like people just think it's natural to get sick, and of course we share energies, and some things are unavoidable, but to stay in sick, stale air, I'm sure has an impact, right?
In your home, I mean, we spend over 90% of our time in home and
Hmm.
indoors, not necessarily at home, but indoors. And so in our homes, we can make difference. Like it's our domain. Like we have choices. We can do things. And
Hmm.
even if you're renting, like I am right now, like you can get a dehumidifier, you can get a humidifier in the wintertime. You can get a really great air purifier. The air purifiers that I sell, they help combat viruses, bacteria, even COVID, mold, mycotoxins, and particulate matter and smoke. So
Wow.
it's doing its thing, and also VOCs, volatile organic compounds, chemicals, off gas. So yeah, you can get really nerdy with this stuff, but I'm just like, these things are basic. There are
Mhm.
homes are an extension of our bodies. Our walls, our floors are like our skin. If
Mm-hmm.
we paint with toxic paint, think about how big that surface is, how much that an impact that's going to have on our environment and our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
If our if we don't change our filters and we don't have filtration, that's our lungs
Mm-hmm.
having to work harder. So like if anybody has an autoimmune disease, if they've got any trauma or grief, or if their buckets are full from stuff,
Yeah.
you can fix the things at your home so they don't add to that bucket. That's what I really believe in. And so, it costs a little bit to get things integrated into your home, like to purchase the air purifiers, but they last forever and you change them
Mm-hmm.
every 5 years. You've got the air monitors just to see what's going on. You can take these things with you wherever you go.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay put. I mean, we do have whole home filters.
It's to me, and I know a lot of people who probably watch this like aren't super into like Western medicine. And, there are a lot of us that are carrying around the burdens of extra traumas, ancestral grief, or just like the difficulty and the tumultuous time that we're living in. And what I'm hearing you saying is just like making it just slightly easier for yourself,
Right.
like removing kind of like a couple inches out of your bucket, right? So that you have a bit more freedom to, oh, I'm not as sad, I'm not as sick, I'm not, I actually have more space to be myself.
Yes, and I will say this, many of my clients, they spin and get worried
Mhm.
about the unknown. So when it's that unknown, like I think I have mold, but I don't want to know.
Mm.
I don't want to know. It acts like a virus because you're thinking about it. You're not letting it settle. So what I do is I empower them and I'm like, let's find out. And you can do something about it.
Yeah.
Fix it. You can.
I love that you said that though. I mean, it just reminds me of when COVID first started, and, there were some people out there being like, the real virus is fear,
Right. Yeah.
and toxins, mold, like all that stuff is dangerous on our system, but there's nothing more dangerous than repeated thought and emotional patterns on top of,
That are negative. Yeah.
yeah, on top of that.
And that's the most important thing. That's why I love creating like sanctuaries for my clients, especially sleep sanctuaries, the mattress that you sleep on, the pillow that you lay your head on, the
Yeah.
blanket that you pull over your body. If those are the material, if those materials aren't um, natural,
Hmm.
interfere with your sleep.
I agree. And there is a real energetic quality to it as well. Like if we get really into like the conductivity, if we're sleeping on things that like have plastics or, aren't made in ways that allow energy to move, then we're kind of sleeping in our own mess
That's the
oftentimes.
thing. A lot of people store things under their bed, and so, and it's a feng shui or vatsu thing. So
Wait, should I clean out underneath my bed, Michelle?
that
Should I clean out underneath my bed? What's happening?
that we're gonna work together. I got energy on flow, and then
Okay.
dusting and vacuuming often because it's that dead energy. It's those cells that could be the mycotoxins, and so just not going OCD, but just
Hmm.
every Saturday, just do a light cleaning. You know what I mean? Like you can let some stuff go. It doesn't. People go the nth degree. You've seen the lady that I don't remember her name, but she's an Asian woman who goes
Marie
on.
Kondo?
She's incredible, but she's like over the top, like is amazing with energy, but also with like the folding techniques and
Hmm.
just your place just so organized and like that itself gets a little bit over the top for me. I can't
Yes.
quite go there. But I appreciate it. And you can take that. This is the things that I do too. It's like you can take bits and pieces from it, but when it comes to health and wellness and good energy and feeling good in your place, there's some real basic things you can do to really elevate your health.
Yeah, and I feel like what I'm just like this whole conversation between us, it really reminds me that you're basically describing the home as a temple, right? Like, how would you worship inside a temple? You're reminding us not to get overwhelmed. And it's the same about the temple. You just kind of do these things out of how much can I honor this space, not out of anxiety.
A ritual. Like make it a
Mm.
sacred ritual and like put music on. Make it fun. When my kids were little, we would put the music on and we would like all, clean together and have fun doing it. And I mean, chores are one thing, but like if you put a heavy dampening spirit on it, it's you're never going to want to do it. So like I hate doing dishes. And this particular house does not have a dishwasher.
Oof.
Big bummer, but like, and I hate it. And I'll admit it. And are there dishes in my sink right now? Oh, yes. Um,
You're a
but
real one.
I put music on when I do my dishes, and I might dance a little bit, and I just like. But that's another thing too, is like when you put the dish. There's an Instagram post that I have where my air monitor. I'm like, what the hell? I just did dishes. Well, I don't have a filter on my hot water. I have it on my cold water. But the hot water releases chlorine and other VOCs while you're doing the dishes. So just open your window. Yeah. I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna open my window now. I just didn't think about it. And I adjust a lot of the times too. I'm just like, oh, that makes sense.
Okay, my girl, you're maybe the last question I have for you. I don't know if you will or will not believe this, but I grew up in California and the water was
Same.
like everyone knew. Like we had, there's an alcoholic drink called like LA water and it's gray. And I knew like always to have a Brita. I moved to Oregon. Everyone's like, the water's so clean here. I never filter the water here. I just drink it straight from the tap.
I'm gonna set you up with a good filter. Yeah.
Oh
There's
my God. I'm learning so much.
an old house. You have old pipes,
Yeah.
and there's things in there that you don't want to be drinking. And then all these days too, everybody's got their prescriptions,
Oh my
medicine,
God, in the
all the
water.
microplastics and all this stuff. It's different than when we grew up. It's different. And so you can control the water that you drink
Mhm.
by getting a good filter. It's
Okay.
not expensive, but I don't know about you, but I mainly drink water. I really don't drink anything else.
Yeah.
And yeah, constantly. And so that's a source that you can definitely do.
Easily kind of like adjust.
All the points where you spend time, like sitting at your desk working, sitting on the couch after meals or with hanging out, sitting or sleeping in your bed. Those
Hmm.
are kind of the three main places that you spend most of your time
Hmm.
in your house. And so, but like in the kitchen or the dining, you're in and out. You're kind of moving. You're not there for a long time. But like where you spend time the most, like you want to make sure that there's no smart meter on the wall
Hmm.
that's kind of doing the radio frequency. This you want to pay attention
Okay.
to where you're
Yeah.
sleeping. It's on the other side of your head of your bed. What's underneath you?
Hmm.
Kind of like having an awareness. And sometimes, like I had a client, like I have headaches when I just got this house. Well, their head, they put it on the wall right where the smart meter was, and all the power lines went in.
Oh,
Just move the bed across the room.
wow. Yeah. Little things make a big difference, right? We really underestimate how much the frequencies around us affect our frequency, our EMF field.
Totally. Oh, totally. And I mean, if people are popping pills to help them sleep or, to cure their anxiety or whatever, there's things you can do that are non-medicinal,
Hmm.
natural, and that they are cures to help remedy your environment. So it can help calm your nervous system and, really boost your well-being inside your own home. It's not,
Yeah.
it's really not that hard. I'm so used to doing this.
Hmm.
Like it just takes one session for me, 45 minutes to an hour, cruise through your space virtually, make a plan, done.
I love that. It feels so accessible. And I feel like from our chats together, including this episode, you're really coming from a place of like, don't worry about it. We're going to figure it out. It's all going to be okay. I'll give you tips, I'll give you tricks.
And then if for some reason there's just a gnarly red flag about something you cannot change, I'll call it out. I don't
Yeah.
do that often.
Hmm.
If there's power lines that are over 400 nanoteslas, or there's a radio tower, or there's a cell tower right out there, there's a lot that's tough to mitigate.
Yeah.
And especially if you've got little kids, that's the thing
Mhm.
too. You want to protect them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Only scratch the surface. It's just been really good to connect with you. And I love this whole holistic, energetic, spiritual side of work with you. And it's brought me to merge that into my work as well, because I do the work.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a session with you. Like, I love energetic work and spiritual healing. And I'm going through stuff with some serious grief and loss after losing my mother and just recently a divorce. And it that's all the more reason to feel grounded in your space
Yeah.
so you can heal. It's
Yeah.
taken a long time, but I tell you, if you had an environment that had fluorescent lights flickering, you're sleeping next to a smart meter, your your wall is bright yellow, it's too hard on your nervous system to actually relax. So
Mm-hmm.
there's things you can do to really create a chill environment. Yeah.
And we need all the help that we can access at this point. So I love that you have this like firm educational background, and then you're just giving people the tools to be safe in their home, be safe in their bodies.
Yeah, there's a connection. I'll tell you what, because there's a lot of wellness providers that don't see it. They just start to treat it with band-aids. And they're not making the connection between their environments. Some are getting a little bit tuned into it. And I'm going to be coming up with a course for wellness providers to educate them on the power.
Amazing.
I already have one done for architects and designers, and then I have one done for real estate agents.
Hmm.
Next, I'm working on one for wellness providers because I just love connecting it. There's oftentimes people come in, they're electricians, they're plumbers, they're handyman or contractors. They're all kind of doing their own thing, but separate lanes.
Yeah.
I come in and I complete it. Like, I can see it all holistically moving together.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not perfect. I always am learning new things. I just have a really good community that I connect with, and have a lot of sources, and I'm always loving to learn too.
Yeah.
Now it's time to give back to the community, and really empower people to take more control of their environment. That's what I feel like I'm meant to be on this earth to do.
Yeah, and you absolutely are. You're empowering people.
Thank you for recognizing that. I really appreciate that. There's not a lot of people, even close people in my life, that appreciate it, and they just don't want to go there. And I no longer, I used to, like, with my friends, and try and push things on them because I cared about them. I wanted to
Right.
mention it, and that didn't go so well. So I work now only with people that appreciate the things that I offer and my experience and wisdom to help them have a better life.
Yeah. Well, I know that I definitely appreciate what you have to offer because it fills the gap in my knowledge. Like you're an expert where I'm not, and you also speak the same language as me. And so I can't wait to explore your services. And I know that my community will also be really, really excited for the offer that we're going to kind of pin below this video.
No, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to talk with you and connect with you, and be a support to your tribe.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really, really thrilled that we were able to make this happen. And we will see you all later.